Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, as you can clearly see here, we are still with PanSa East FC. The big question, as you know, is how long we're going to stay on. We've put in a couple of applications, mostly for clubs that will probably not even look at me because I don't really qualify. That sounds like applying for jobs in real life, honestly. And so we'll see what happens here. Let's go ahead here and beat Utale. And once we do that, then we can worry a little bit more about what exactly is going to happen here behind the scenes. So nobody knows about this yet, by the way. I haven't actually announced that I'm interested in any sort of position or anything like that. We're just sort of seeing what we can find and sort of asking a little bit behind the scenes. As those of you with football manager experience know, at this stage of the career, of course, you're kind of begging and trying to get whatever it is you can get. Eventually, you get to the point where other teams try to do some headhunting and try to pick you off. But in my short career here with PanSa East FC, we're absolutely nowhere even close to having that happen. So let's see what happens here. Win against Utale will do at least something for us. I don't think, as I've said before, that we're going to end up catching the front runners. If we did in the end of this season, it would really be egg on my face, assuming that I'm still here. When there's a pretty good chance that I will be still here. Fawa Danielson with it now, and pass it back to Xavier. Xavier over to Maile, and that should have been the first goal. His header ends up being just wide to the right, and it is out. Not too bad, though, getting a shot on goal like that in the first minute of the match. And let's see what we can do. Believe it or not, success here in American Samoa does not exactly increase your reputation all that much. Kind of confusing to me as to why, because we know how competitive American Samoa is, and there's a corner for them. Topui ends up heading that one out. Fawa Danielson, wow, ends up running over to that one, getting ahead on it, and ends up winning it over to Topui again. Back to Twala Lele, over to Maile. Maile really playing deep in that deep lying forward role. He's almost playing midfield. Twala Lele now with it over to Ledu, and he was trying to find Famona. Couldn't find him. Twala Lele with it, and he hits this one up top to Ledu, and he finds Famoana this time, and that is a goal for Chris. And that was that like number 8, I think, this season, something like that. 1-0 for PanSa East FC, and that was pretty simple. So Ledu, when you fail at first, try again. And this time he's clearly onside, of course, and Famoana just has perfect position, and there's no way they're going to stop that. Very good cross by Ledu. After a cross the first time that was pretty poor, that second one was excellent. That's all I can say about that one. That was beautiful. 1-0 for PanSa East FC, and that's the way it should be. I keep asking myself why we can't play every match like this. And boy, that was a real scary looking free kick by them, and fortunately that one hit off the cross. And this ends up being passed over to Topui. Takes it up slowly. Xavier with it now over to Palipua. Palipua down to Topui. Topui on the right side brings this one up forward himself. He has options, ends up trying to find Maile, and it really was a poor pass, and this allows them to have a counter attack. And fortunately for us, our defenders, we have the good defenders out this time, and they're able to get back. Interesting how seasons work here, by the way. We have a lot of 2 matches a week, and then when we get to the end of the season, like now, almost the end, we have only 1 match per week, so we can rest guys and keep playing our horses, our real stallions. Ledoux there with the ball and knocks that one over the top of the net. Really, he should have slowed that one down and looked for a pass. I'm pretty sure that his role is on support, but might be on attack. That might be why that's happening. Famoana ends up with the shot on that free kick from range, and that doesn't even come close to hitting the net. And so we just go ahead and move on forward and see what happens here. Still 1-0 for PanSa East FC as the time is quickly drifting by. And about 40 minutes into this match so far. Pretty good looking crowd here when you consider that this is a team that's almost doomed to finish in second place this season. Fata, who is in goal, who I didn't realize we had in goal, over to Palipua. So Fata gets a rare start in goal today, and this is why, as I've said before, you shouldn't just trust the computer to pick your team. But sometimes we want to do that because, hey, we want to give him some experience, and the other guy maybe looked a little tired or whatever. And boy, fortunately for Fata, that ends up not being a shot on goal. That ends up being knocked out for a corner. Let's see if we can get here to halftime without giving up a goal. And it's Maile, of all people, who ends up winning that header in the air. And let's see if we can stay back. So our defense ends up being reset, and that's going to be about the end of it here. Not really much of a highlight to show, by the way. I know they call it a clear-cut chance. This really wasn't that much of a clear-cut chance. It's kind of hard to have one where you got a guy standing right in front of you, stopping to prevent you from going anywhere. And we are to halftime. Still 1-0 for PanSa East FC, and we're playing okay. A little bit concerned about Topui, but that's about it. I do think that we should take charge of this match. I agree wholeheartedly. And I don't know why every single time I have to go here and re-auto-size the column so I can see who's playing poorly and who's not. We're going to put Walter Osam. It's been a little while since he's had some game time. And let's see what we can do here in the second half. That might help us out a little bit. Topui with a couple of really, really poor passes there in that first half, at least from the highlights that we saw, not really adding much to the attack. And I suppose he was doing something on defense. Fetuau is back and able to win that one. He goes over to Xavier, and that's the end of the highlight. And now it's there's a pass by somebody over to Twala Lele. That was another poor one. And so our passing is quite suspect here. And Fao Danielson ends up winning that ball in midfield. And we'll just go ahead and go forward and see what happens from here on out. It's going to be Walter Assam here with the throw over to Fao Danielson. Back to Assam. He knocks this one forward for Maile, and that should have been a goal just off the top crossbar. Again, Maile having a little bit of bad luck. And we had a chance in an attack there, and that ended the highlight. That's kind of weird. Football Manager does weird things like that from time to time. Let's see what happens here. About 60 minutes in, and it's Palipua who has it. We've done this a lot in recent matches. We play very, very good in the first half, and then we get to the second part of the second half, and then we start giving up goals. So let's see if it happens again today. And Fetuau was beaten by that pass from the goalkeeper, and fortunately for us, our own keeper is able to make a good save. And so he's starting to prove himself here a little bit. It's over to Xavier. Xavier over to Fao Danielson, and that will be the end of that highlight. Let's take another look at this one, though. This was a great save. So Fetuau foolishly tries to jump for that and then kind of jogs his way back. And it was Fata there with the excellent save on what was clearly going to be the game-tying goal. Twala Lele now over to Fao Danielson. Can't quite find him. Xavier with it over to Walter Assam. Awesome. Back to Xavier, and a couple of different attempts at a cross there. Neither one really worked. You can see the Utale is really, really trying to take control of the defense. Twala Lele now knocks this one up forward for Ledoux. Ledoux keeps that one in play. Back to Pati, rather, and ends up knocking that one up and over everybody's head. So not really a great finish on that one, but it was a good attempt, at least by Roy Ledoux, to prevent that one from going out. We got about 20 minutes left in this match. Let's see if we can hold on here and see what we have going on from here on out. So Walter Assam having a pretty good match. Maile having a pretty quiet one. And we can see that Fao Danielson not playing that well. And let's hope that he can start doing a little bit better. I don't really want to take him out because I have so much trust in him, but it's another one of those inconsistent players. And when you get a whole bunch of players with a big inconsistency, it gets really, really hard to find any consistency. Twala Lele down to Pati, over to Ledoux, Roy Ledoux back to Pati, Pati back to Fetuau, up to Fao Danielson, who misses everything. He's having a poor game. He passes it back to Walter Assam, who hits it over to Maile, who just misses the goal. Boy, that was a really, really good save on the line. And we have lost this ball now in midfield, and this is a problem. This is a big problem because they have numbers. And Fetuau, fortunately, is able to get back into that one. Pass over to Fata. That's a dangerous pass. Ends up with Fao Danielson. Fao Danielson over to Roy Ledoux. Roy Ledoux takes it forward, left side. Plays with a little bit and has it stripped away from him just like that. And so that's the end of our counterattack. 1-0, the score remains, and it's Walter Assam with a throw over to Xavier. Xavier back to Walter. Walter knocks this one forward looking for Ledoux, and Ledoux is not really that tall. That's the problem. That was a poor cross, I think, by Walter Assam. Fetuau over to Ledoux. It's over to Maile, who gets sort of an excuse me header on that one and finally scores, but that won't count because they're calling somebody or other offside. I think it's probably Ledoux. Yeah, it's Ledoux who's offside here. Let's say there's really no way that Maile is offside there clearly, and I don't think that he was expecting the ball to come the way that it did. Ledoux with the ball again, knocks this one forward, this time for Fao Danielson, who almost scores a goal, considering the kind of match he's had. It's amazing, and it's ends up being Maile who gets called for the foul. Palipua with it now, up to Fao Danielson. Fao Danielson has it. Good position. Let's see a cross, and he ends up crossing it back to Walter Assam. Really, really poorly done. Back to Twala Lele, over to Maile. Maile, Twala Lele to Ledoux. Ledoux, where's Fetuau? Twala Lele over to Pati, and, Fa Moana is what I'm wondering about. Fa Moana, and it's almost like they're playing keep away from him. He's the one who's got the heavy boot, and ends up back with Xavier. Xavier knocks this one forward, finds Ledoux, just doesn't find him. It's Fa Moana who decides, instead of running out for that one, to let it go out for a corner. And so we only have a couple seconds left here in this match. This is probably going to be like one of the final kicks of this match overall. So let's see what happens. We're not going to put Zion Moala back in because he's been playing so poorly so far this season. There's the header over to Fetuau. Misses everybody. Welcome to amateur land. And as I predicted, that is the end. And we have ended up winning this one 1-0, 1.54 XG, so it's not great. We did have 60% of the possession, which is what we've been having lately with this improved tactic. Lots of shots on target, and we've won, but is it going to be enough? I'm not sure about that. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.